Here, we expose the game. And independents are going to be the key. And I want to bring in Frank Luntz right now, pollster, communications analyst, expert, teaching at West Point. He knows this. He lived the 2004 election along with the rest of us. And I want to get his take on why independents are mattering so much right now. Frank, thank you very much for joining me.
Let me give you a compliment first. And I tend not to do this because as a pollster, I have to stay out of it. You're not really interested in my point of view. You're interested in the public's point of view. I cannot agree with you more. And the fact is, it's not a game anymore, and no one believes it's a game, and it should not be treated that way. And the fact is that some of the people right now, and I find this myself, I'm considered too pro-Trump for the Harris people, and I get emails about it. I'm too pro-Harris for the Trump people. I get emails about it. I get texts by people just angry in general. And it's really difficult to cover this election. You cannot call it. And so people are getting so apoplectic about giving any compliment to the other side without demonizing them and damaging them. And that's not the way we should be doing this. A media consultant, a pollster, someone like you as a commentator, we have the responsibility to tell it straight, right down the middle, without favor for anyone. That's my first point. Second, with the independents, they're the last people left that haven't made up their minds, but there's no undecided anymore. Those undecided are probably not voting for either of the two candidates. They're so negative, so turned off to what's happening that they simply said, I'm going to vote for a third party or not at all. It's the undecided who haven't made a commitment. And basically, they're uncommitted. They have a point of view. Whether or not they vote will determine who wins. I think at this moment, in terms of committed, Trump has the advantage. In terms of the ceiling of potential vote, Harris has the advantage, which is why I stay away from any projections. I don't know.
What do you think is most likely motivating independents in this, Frank, and why we saw a bump for Harris when she came in, and why there's some attrition in that margin for her, especially in the states that matter, actually losing it in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, at least for the moment? Do you think this is a consistent vibe for independents in cycles past of national security? What keeps me safest?
Actually, I don't. I think that Harris did one of the best launches of any campaign I've ever seen, and I'm old. That her optimism, her enthusiasm, the contradiction, the contrast, I should say, between the negativity before she was in the race and this intensity of positivity that she brought to the race completely remade American politics as we know it. And as long as she stayed positive, which was through the convention, she continued to add to her support week after week, day after day. And the moment that she started to do the Donald Trump, the moment that she started to attack, to try to find the language, to embarrass him, to criticize him, she stopped focusing on herself. She started focusing on Donald Trump. And that's when she froze. You can look at the numbers. You can correlate it directly. The moment that she became Trump is the moment she hit her peak, and she's been falling ever since. A small amount.
And we both know why. We both know why, because we've been in those rooms, right? You get this group of people around, right? They get complete groupthink. They're all in their bubble, and they know that the best way to win is to make the other guy lose. And you become obsessed with the negative, and all the ad buys go heavy negative. And you see the movement in the metered markets in those different places you're targeting move on the negative ads more than the proof of proposition or the positive ads. And that's when they lock it in.
Yeah, and the point right now is the public is saying enough, all caps with an exclamation. And she got that when she entered. And that's why she exceeded anyone's expectations. I now look at the campaign. She's going to be doing the town hall. And I wonder how specific she's going to get. Is she going to acknowledge that she hasn't answered the questions that voters are asking? Is she going to acknowledge that immigration got worse under Joe Biden? Is she going to acknowledge that she has a different point of view, a slightly different agenda? If she comes clean, if she's genuine and authentic, she has the advantage. But as long as she comes across as a typical politician, she will lose. Donald Trump says the most awful stuff. It is horrible. And those of us who want a more civil, more decent campaign, we quiver, and not quiver. We shake when we listen to him. But he's not going to lose a single vote by what he's saying. The only people
It's
who are
true.
still left are Harris voters, and whether or not they commit to her is going to depend on whether she comes clean, whether she's candid and authentic, and right now that's not clear.
Even though she's the incumbent and there's usually an advantage in that, she has the harder challenge. She's not just running against a man, she's running against a movement of grievance, and a lot of it happened on her watch. And that's tough. It's a higher bar for her, no question about it. Frank Luntz, thank you very much. Appreciate you, and to be continued.